During my recent road trip across the US, I kept thinking about how dependent we are on other people. And whenever I travel, it really becomes tangible and more evident just how dependent we are on other people and everyone else. And it has to do with every aspect of our lives. Like right now, I'm on a laptop that was made in a factory somewhere, using a webcam that was made in another factory, drinking tea from a mug that was made somewhere else. Every aspect of our lives are influenced by other people, and it's dependent upon other people. So there's this illusion of self-sufficiency, because complete self-sufficiency, it's just impossible within the encoded principles of this reality. I'll just put it that way. Like, even if you think of like the pioneering mountain men in the US, the ones that like explored the West in like the 1800s, even they're not completely self-sufficient either. Like they would have had to, first of all, make their own clothing, make their own weapons, and even if you go a level deeper than that, you still depend on the environment to survive. You depend on oxygen to breathe. You depend on plants and animals to sustain you as your nutrition. So complete self-sufficiency is an illusion, and it just doesn't exist in this reality. We need to, other lives have to be taken in order for us to survive. And then other people have to give effort in order for us to do the things we want to do. And we have to provide effort in order for other people to do the things that they want to do. It's all this system of intricate interconnectedness. And if you think about it from that perspective, that's another way of viewing the concept of oneness, because we're all a part of this interconnected web, or a part of this super organism. Like, you can think of everything as like cells in a superorganism, and we're all interconnected. So we all depend on each other, and we're all making the whole system run. And that, it really blew my mind to just truly contemplate on that idea, because I've always known it, but I never really fully wrapped my head around it until very, very recently, over the last few days. So it really demonstrates that if you try to separate yourself from, like, shield yourself off with your ego and all of that, it just doesn't work. And we have to embrace this interconnectedness. Of course, you can express individuality within it, but you need to embrace the interconnectedness. Because even if you want to be an outcast from society, let's say if you want to live in an apartment by yourself and not talk to anyone, you still have people taking care of your apartment, you still have to get your food from somewhere, you're still wearing clothes that were made somewhere else, you're still eating food that came from other places. So you're still dependent. And like I said, even the mountain men back in the day were dependent in a more simple way, but they were more dependent. And we're taking this this connectedness to the extreme in today's society right now, and it comes with strengths and weaknesses. Like, let's compare, the person just, or like a tribe going through the woods, being nomadic in the woods. It's a very, very simple existence, and they don't depend on as many people or as many things as we do currently. They might depend on a few other people, a few plants, a few animals to survive off of that kind of thing. They might make their own clothes, make their own weapons, all of that. So there's very, very little of that dependency on other things, but it still exists, of course, because we need it's necessary for us to survive. And today's society, we're interconnected with so many things across the globe. So I said it before, in terms of clothing, technology, food, information, everything, it's all interconnected. And the beauty of it is that the possibility of experience is virtually infinite. So for someone who's, living the simple life going around in the woods, they wouldn't have access to the kind of information we have. They wouldn't have access to the diversity of food that we have. They wouldn't have access to the new experiences that we have access to. But then again, they're not operating on information overload and distraction, so they're not going to suffer the anxiety that a lot of us suffer from. They're not going to suffer from that existential crisis mode that a lot of us operate in, because we're just learning how to use all of this. We're just learning how to live with this extreme global interconnectedness. It's so new to us, and we're figuring out how to handle it. So that's why a lot of people are breaking down, and a lot of people aren't able to handle all this, because it's a lot. Information always available to you could be so empowering, but it could be so distracting. You could learn anything. You could learn about quantum physics, for example, or you can waste your time being distracted by cat videos, or anything in between. So depending on your level of self-mastery, essentially, what you're exposed to can either be a benefit to you, or it could be massively distracting and paralyzing. So there's strengths and weaknesses that come with every paradigm. So just realize that we're operating in a paradigm of extreme interconnectedness, and we have a lot of stuff going on. We're dependent on so many people and so many things to live this lifestyle, and so many other people are dependent on what we do. So it's important to realize that, and it's important to recognize the interconnectedness of everything, because no man is an island, and separation is essentially an illusion, because we're all interconnected. Like I keep saying, we're all cells in the same superorganism. All right? Yeah. All right. Peace, much love, and one love, baby.